When J.R.R. Tolkien started working on The Lord of the Rings, he thought it would be a straightforward sequel to The Hobbit. What began as a continuation of Bilbo Baggins' adventures turned into an epic saga filled with new races and vast unexplored lands. George R.R. Martin experienced something similar with his A Song of Ice and Fire series. He initially envisioned a trilogy, but as he wrote, the story expanded into a massive, sprawling narrative with countless plots, rich histories, and a large cast of characters. It's a story he has yet to finish. Come on, George. These legendary authors show us that sometimes, no matter how well we plan, our stories have a mind of their own. As we pour our thoughts onto the page and let our creativity run wild, something magical, and sometimes maddening happens. The tale grows in the telling. But what does that mean exactly? It's when your story expands beyond your initial vision, which often stems from a character, an event, or a theme. This organic growth can be a sign of your creativity flourishing, but it can also lead to a narrative that feels unwieldy and unfocused. When you want a story to have a structured hero's journey, a neatly tied up beginning, middle, and end, and a fast-paced narrative, letting your story grow in the telling can be a bad thing. But I love Tolkien and Martin. Creating something as expansive, rich in characters, and full of unpredictability as their worlds is what I aspire to do. It's all about finding the right balance, allowing the tale to grow in the telling while staying the course and not getting too sidetracked. Tolkien and Martin definitely got sidetracked, telling stories about characters that don't even influence the main plot, but add another layer that the audience wasn't previously invested in. For example, while the main story of A Song of Ice and Fire focuses on the battle for the Iron Throne and the threat of the White Walkers, Martin decides to split A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons, allowing the events in each book to happen simultaneously. This allowed Martin to introduce a whole batch of point-of-view characters that branched off from the original story. This brought in characters such as Aegor Rivers. While Aegor was a great topic for discussion in online forums with all his backstory, his role in the Blackfire Rebellion, his founding of the Golden Company, and all his personal vendettas and ambitions, but does he really impact the main plot? Does this story even matter in the context of the current struggle for the throne or to any of the other characters that we spent 3 books getting invested in? Perhaps he didn't belong in A Song of Ice and Fire. If Tolkien had written it, maybe he would have snuck him into the appendices. Either way, as a writer, it's all about deciding what you want to do with extraneous details that don't impact the plot. Think director's cut or deleted scenes for a movie. To make an informed decision, the first thing you need to do is understand key aspects that can expand as your story develops. Here are 5 common areas that will grow as you write. 1. Characters. As you write, your characters may take on new dimensions. They might develop unexpected backstories, acquire new traits, or form relationships you hadn't planned. A minor character might suddenly demand more attention, becoming central to the plot. In A Song of Ice and Fire, Theon Greyjoy starts as a relatively minor character, but as the series progresses, he becomes a significant player in Westeros. 2. History. The world you've created has a past, and as you write, you become an archaeologist digging up new discoveries. You might find yourself exploring the origins of a society, the lineage of a royal family, or ancient events that shape your current narrative. Tolkien delves deep into the history of Middle-earth, especially with the tales of Númenor and the ancient conflict between Sauron and the Free Peoples. This rich history provides a backdrop, but it's also a rabbit hole. 3. Subplots. New subplots can emerge organically as you write. These secondary storylines can add depth to your story, providing additional layers of intrigue and conflict. The storyline of Brienne of Tarth's quest to find Sansa is a compelling B-story to A Song of Ice and Fire. Her journey and personal code of honor complements the political and military strategizing of the main plot, a palate cleanser between major events. 4. Themes. As your story evolves, themes can deepen or shift. You might start with a simple exploration of love, but find yourself delving into themes of sacrifice, betrayal, or remorse. While the initial theme in The Lord of the Rings might be the fight against evil, deeper themes such as the corrupting influence of power, the importance of friendship and loyalty, the dangers of industrialization on the natural world, and the possibility of redemption, as seen in characters like Gollum, emerge. 5. Settings. The settings of your story might expand, with new locations coming into play. A single city could become a sprawling world with diverse regions, each with its own culture, unique history, political dynamics, and conflict. A Song of Ice and Fire begins in Winterfell, but soon expands to include the Wall, King's Landing, the free cities of Essos, and places beyond the Narrow Sea. As you can see, these additions made the two epic saga more captivating and engaging. It opens up more questions for the audience, enticing them to learn more. The key is finding the balance between intriguing and overwhelming. You must stick up for what you want to hold and, at the same time, not be afraid to cut when you need to. But even when you cut, it doesn't mean it needs to be deleted forever. Still, we can learn from Tolkien and Martin. Tolkien's world building in The Lord of the Rings laid the foundation for the Silmarillion, a compendium of myths and legends that detail the ancient history of Middle-earth. Similarly, Martin's extensive lore in A Song of Ice and Fire led to companion books like Fire and Blood, which chronicles the history of the Targaryen dynasty from its inception in Valyria to its conquest and rule over Westeros. In addition to Fire and Blood, Martin expanded his world with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a collection of 3 novellas following the adventures of Dunk, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his squire, Egg, the future King Aegon. Set nearly a century before A Game of Thrones, these stories provide a glimpse into a different era of Westeros. And Tolkien had his fair share of companion novels as well, including Beren and Luthien and The Children of Húrin, both of which were published posthumously. What is written is never wasted. What is written can stand the test of time. So when you trim your work, when you prune the gardens, don't just throw away the discarded bits. They may be beautiful flowers worthy of a different venue, a different vase. Extract subplots or character backstories that don't fit your main narrative and develop them into standalone short stories. These can provide additional context and depth to your main work. Compile them as a collection or publish them independently. Short stories are a great way to attract a new audience or re-engage old ones. Use the expanded history and settings as lure to enrich your world building. This can serve as background information that deepens the reader's immersion. Build a wiki for your world and open it up for dialogue. That is what good history does. When the tale grows in the telling, it can lead to some of the most beautiful and unexpected moments in your writing. It's a dance between structure and spontaneity, between planning and discovery. Embrace this growth, shape it, and let it enhance your story. Having your world unfurl freely, as Tolkien and Martin did, allows you to create from a place of passion and authenticity. Even if the audience's expectations aren't fully met, the creative satisfaction you gain from exploring your story in depth can be invaluable. In the end, it's your creative journey. Trust yourself, trust the process, and remember that every twist and turn is a part of the adventure. Happy writing. Thank you for watching. My name is Elliot. I make videos about writing and the creative process. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and check out this playlist right here.